Prabhupada, Jai Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostate Taptakanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. So last time we had done the first verse, the first chapter, Bhagavad Gita. Today we will start with the second chapter, second verse of Bhagavad Gita. First chapter, second verse of Bhagavad Gita. Sanjay Uvacha Drishtva tu Pandavanekam Vyudham Duryodhanastada Acharyam Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abdravi. The whole scene goes like this. Student of Vyasa is Sanjay. Sanjay is sitting in the palace of the Dhritarashtra and is ready to give the live commentary on what is happening in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So in the first verse we saw, though this whole the text is Bhagavad Gita, but it's not starting with Sri Bhagavan Vacha. It's starting with the Dhritarashtra. The person who is the most irreligious person or the cause of the fight, a dharmic person, he begins the opening verse. And he says, Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre. One who is an adharmi is speaking about dharma. It is actually because of the influence of Saraswati. Saraswati is Vagdevata. So she sits on the tongue of everyone. Anyone who wants to criticize a devotee or Krishna, Saraswati will see that the meaning is completely changed. Now, the Dhritarashtra must not have any intention of even saying Dharmakshetra, Kurukshetra, but it was the force of Vagdevata. As like Krishna says, anyhow, you have said that this a Dharmakshetra, that is why we will establish Dharma in this place. Dharma is based on 4 principles: austerity, purity, cleanliness, and truthfulness. So Krishna says, just because you have told, I will do it. Now just see, Krishna doesn't take any blames of himself. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre has been told by Dhritarashtra. King Kuru performed a lot of austerity in this place, and this place, Dharma is going to be established. And also, in this place, unwanted weeds will be removed. That is, the Pandavas will be nourished and the Kauravas will be uprooted. And in this place, Krishna himself is going to be present. Dharmastu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Samaveta yutsava mamakaha pandavaha, my sons and Kaurava's sons and Pandu's sons have assembled. Actually, they all belong to Kuru dynasty. He should have not told Pandava's sons, Pandu's sons. That shows how mean-minded he is and how partial he is. And also Mamakaha, I, mine, that is actually Ahankara, Mamakara, that is Agyanta. Aham Mama iti Agyanam. So this Mamakaha Pandava, this phrase actually signifies his ignorance and also signifies his partial attitude towards his sons. Kiva Kurvata Sanjaya, very eager to have the fight started because he does not want the place or the person's influence onto his sons. Because his sons are standing on the place where great devotees like Pandavas have assembled. This place is Tapobhumi. And his Tapobhumi, what will happen? The influence of the place may make his son very divine or saintly. They may give up the war. He has so much of attachment for the throne that in spite of having this knowledge that his sons will really die in this battlefield, but still he wants his sons to not give up the fight. He wants his sons to take part in the fight because of the overly attachment to the position and the throne. Now let us see the second verse. Now Sanjaya is giving the live commentary. He says, don't worry that your sons will be influenced by the persons or the place, because your sons are as blind as you are. Drishtva, that is how this starts with Drishtva tu Pandava income. After seeing the arrangement made by the sons of Pandu, your son, that means he's seeing Krishna also, but still he is not influenced. That means he is also equally blind like you. You may not be having a gross eye, but your son is having a gross eye, an instrument called eyes, but still he cannot see the reality. The reality is Krishna is standing on the other side, and wherever Krishna is there, wherever Krishna is there, their Jai is there, victory is there. In spite of seeing this, you are anyhow blind by birth and blind by knowledge also. Your son is equally blind by birth and blind by knowledge. He is able to see Krishna, but he is not able to understand who is the Supreme Personality of God. That he is seeing the Supreme Personality of God. Even though in spite of seeing Pandavas, his heart is not melted. That means he is in ignorance. As much as you are in ignorance, he is also in ignorance. So what is the real sight? Or what is the meaning of seeing? Seeing with knowledge. When a person sees with knowledge, what he sees the energy of Krishna everywhere. Sthavar Jangama Dekhe na Dekhetara Murti Sarvatra Hoye Nije Ishtadeva Smurti. He sees that everything is nothing but the transformation of the energy of Krishna. That is the real sight. When you see anything, you cannot see something separate from Krishna. But this person, in spite of seeing Krishna, in spite of seeing the Pandavas, but his heart is not melting. That means he is still in ignorance. So you don't have to be in fear. He is now giving the, Ashwasan. He is consoling him and saying, don't be in fear, don't cry, what is happening? Krishnatu Pandavanitam, after seeing the wonderful arrangement done by the armies of the Pandavas, Vyudham Duryodhanastada. What did Duryodhana do? Duryodhana got down from his chariot. Acharyam Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abraham. He ran towards his teacher. From this verse onwards to the 12th verse, diplomacy of Duryodhana has been spoken. Who is a diplomatic person? One whose actions, words, and thoughts are completely different from each other. One, when he speaks, he thinks something else. His body language is something else. So he is not as clear, as crystal clear, like a what? One who is very crystal clear in his heart and his actions and his thoughts, and that person is a pure person. But a person whose actions are different, thoughts are different, words, speaking words or body language is something different. Those people are known as, they are called as uh, um, diplomatic person. So don't worry, your son is a very, very diplomatic person. What did he do? He got down from his chariot and went to his Acharya Dronacharya. Now somebody can say, hey, how humble is. He's intentionally saying Raja. He is calling Duryodhana as Raja Vachanam Abravi. This Raja, whom you are thinking that he's going to become Raja in the future, or you may be having a dream that your son is a Raja, king. Now, such a king is speaking some following words to his teacher. Now, getting down from the chariot and going to the teacher is a sign of humility, isn't it? But because now he's a Raja, then what he should have done? He should have called Dronacharya, who is just military general. So he should have called him. Raja doesn't get down. He calls the generals to the chariot, near his chariot, whatever questions he want to ask, he may ask. But in spite of being a king, he gets down and goes to Dronacharya, who is just a military general, goes to Dronacharya. Then if it is an act of humility, that he is my teacher, why should I call him? Instead, I should go to him. Then his words also should have been humble. But instead, what did he speak? Pashaitam Panduputranam Acharya Bhatim Chamum Yudham Drupada Putrena Tava Shishyena Dhimata. Oh teacher, take Bhagavad Gita book. Take Bhagavad Gita books. Yeah. Pashaitam Panduputranam. Just see teacher, see the military arrangement done by the sons of Pandu. Pashaitam Panduputranam. Have you seen Pashaitam? Is this the way to talk to the teacher? Because Dronacharya is teacher not only for the Pandavas, but he's also teacher for the Kauravas. So he knows what type of military arrangement even the Pandavas have done. So telling to teacher Pashaitam, it's a sign of arrogance. That means his heart is telling something and his actions were something and words are coming out in a different way. The words are not at all in a humble way. He says, Pashaitam Panduputranam, just see what wonderful arrangement they have done. Is he praising or is he taunting his teacher? Let us see the last two lines. Vyudham Drupada Putrena. You know who has done? Drupad's son has done. Drishtadumna has done. He should have clearly said Vyudham Drishtadumnena. But what he said? Drupada Putrena. Intentionally he says Drupada Putrena. Intentionally he says it is done by the sons of Drupada. He wanted to instigate the enmity which had happened while leaving the Gurukul. Actually, they both were good friends, Drupad and Dronacharya. They were very good friends from the childhood. They studied in the same Gurukul. But when they came out from the Gurukul, at that time, Drupad had promised Dronacharya that whenever you are in need, you can come to me. So it so happened, Dronacharya, Brahmin, is not very rich also, very poor he was. And Ashwatthama was born now. And he was married to Kripi's sister, Kripacharya's sister Kripi. Then the son Ashwatthama, no milk also, nothing, and Kripi was very feeble. He thought of having a cow. So to ask the cow, he goes to he goes to Drupad. Drupad is a king. He remembered the promise. Yes, Drupad had promised that one day, anytime, any need, you can come to my palace. I am a Kshatriya, I am a king. But you are a Brahmana. Whenever you are in need, you can come to me. But instead of giving protection to Dronacharya, giving him what he asked, just a cow he asked. He should have done that. Instead of doing that, what he did, he insulted Dronacharya. And he even failed to recognize him. What to speak of fulfilling or not fulfilling? He failed to even recognize him. So taking that insult, Dronacharya was passing through Hastinapur. At the time he saw some few boys, they were peeping the well, because a ball had fallen in the well. And they were none other than the Pandavas and Kauravas. They were trying to remove the the ball. But then Dronacharya, being an expert archer, what he did, he just took some twigs of grass and he made a big rope and he removed the ball. So Arjuna was very much impressed. He ran to Bhishma Pitama and told, there is a great personality who has come. What an aim he has. He was just making a rope out of the twigs, one twig, another twig. Then Bhishma Pitama understood that is none other than Dronacharya. He was very expert in this archery. So that is why he employed Dronacharya to teach this military arts to his grandsons, Kauravas and Pandavas. So going on, he was teaching them. One day he asked the Kauravas and the Pandavas, who will go and bind Drupad and Bhima? Because Drupad had insulted me. So Kauravas went, headed by Duryodhana. Then they were failure. Drupad defeated them. Now the Pandavas, they went to bring Drupad. They bound him and brought him in front of Dronacharya. Dronacharya should have given some punishment. No? Instead of giving punishment, what he said, he is unfit to be even punished. He is unfit to even being punished. This was a great insult to Kshatriya. Drupad is a Kshatriya. Kshatriya prefers to be punished, but if it is told that he is unfit to be even punished, that's a great insult. So then, Drupad, with this insult, he performed a sacrifice. In that sacrifice, he wanted a son who will be the cause of the death of Dronacharya. From the sacrifice came Drishtadumna. He got a son, Drishtadumna. And what he did, just see, he sent Drishtadumna to learn all the military arts from Dronacharya. He wanted a son to be the cause of the death of Dronacharya. He sent his son to learn all the arts from the same Dronacharya. And now Dronacharya knew that this son is born and is born to be his death, to be the cause of his death. But still, in spite of knowing all these things, as a liberal teacher means one who is liberal, one who is ready to share all the knowledge to the students, in spite of knowing that the students may misuse, some students may misuse the knowledge. In spite of knowing, it is a work of the teacher to teach all the arts to the student. So it so happened the teacher taught everything to Drishtadumna. And now Drishtadumna, what he did, he used those arts and arranged the military array. The army was so nicely arranged on the sides of Pandavas so that it will be as a so that the opponents are arranged very nicely, and it is in contradiction to whom? To the Kauravas. That is why here Duryodhana, he is taunting his teacher. What he says, your student is very, very intelligent. Tava shishyena dhimata. What is the word used? Tava shishyena dhimata. Your student is very intelligent. If somebody says like this, that means what? Are you intelligent? No, you are a fool number one. Because the student is on the other side. If the student would have been on his side, then it is a praise to the teacher. Your student is very intelligent. Yes. Like somebody says to the father, your child is very intelligent, very nice. The father feels proud. Yes. The student is also equal to the child only. Like the teacher is compared to the parents. So if the child is, if somebody's daughter or the son is glorified, then it actually is the glorification to the parent. But now, if the child acts against the father and is on the other side, that means acts against the father's will, At that time, there is a praise. Your child is very intelligent. That means what? You are a fool number one. Now let's see how Dronacharya, how Duryodhana speaks to his teacher. First thing, what he says, see, Pashyeta. This itself is a very arrogant word. Why the teacher cannot see or not? The teacher himself has taught how to arrange the arts, everything, how to arrange an army, everything is taught. Now, when military art is given, even how to arrange an army, everything is taught by the teacher. Saying that see, that means see, the one to whom you taught everything, that same person has stood against you. That means you are actually a foolish person to give such art to knowingly that to a person who is going to use the same art against you. In this way, he is criticizing his teacher. Then further, what he says, just see how many people are there on the other side who are equal to Bhima and Arjun. Don't consider them as ordinary. You may say, oh, there are less number of people here on the other side, because it so happened once Krishna had put a condition. You want me or you want my Narayani Sena, but I'm not going to take part in the war. So he called Arjun also, he called Duryodhana also. At the time he was sleeping. So Arjun came and sat near his feet. Duryodhana came and sat near his head. That was always Duryodhana. Duryodhana always liked to sit on the head. But as a humble devotee, Arjuna always wants to take the shelter of the feet of Krishna, lotus feet of Krishna. So when the eyes of Krishna open at that time, he sees Arjuna. And he says, Arjuna, now you ask what? Because I first saw you, so you should ask. Duryodhana thought, oh, my chance is gone. Now he will ask Narayani Sena, because any of Krishna is not going to take part in the war. But to his surprise, what did he ask? Oh Krishna, even though you may not be taking part in the war, but still, I want you to be on my side. Because Krishna is practically useless, isn't it? He's not going to take part in the war means what? I'm not going to be useful in the war. So then you can take my Narayani Sena, my opulence you can take. So he was very happy. Duryodhana was so relieved. Oh, wonderful. Arjuna has asked any of Krishna. And so Arjuna's army was very small in comparison to the army of the Kauravas, headed by Duryodhana. So that army was so small, and here this army, Pandava's army was very small, and Kaurava's army was very huge. But still, he tells to his teacher, "See, don't think that the other army is weak just because they have less number of people. They have great warriors like Yudhan, Virat, Drupad. This Virat Raja is the same king where this Pandavas had taken shelter when 1 year of Agyatavas was there at that time, because they had to be in Agyatavas also. Agyatavas, nobody should recognize them. At that time, they had gone to this Virat Raja. So Yudhan is there, Virat is there, Drupad is there. All great fighters are there. Don't consider them as ordinary. They are equal to Bhim and Arjuna. Then further he says that there are Drishtaketu, Shtipitana, Kashirajashta, Viryavan, Purjit Kunti, Bhojashta, Shaibashta, Narapungava. All great personalities are there. Like Drishtaketu is there, Chikitan is there, Kashiraj is there, Purjit is there, Kunti Bhoj is there, Shaibya is there. So such great personalities, Yudhamanyu is there, Uttamoja is there. Then son of Subhadra is there. Who is son of Subhadra? Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu is there. And then sons of Draupadi is there. They are there. So all they are great warriors. They are all Maharathis. So in the Vedic times, the gradation of the warriors were like this: Ekarathi, Maharathi, then Ardharathi, then Atirathi, and there was the lowest rank was Ardharathi. So let us see what is this Ekarathi, Maharathi, Atirathi. Ekarathi means one who has the capacity to fight with one chariot at a time. Maharathi, 10,000 chariots at a time. Atirathi, innumerable chariots will be there in front of him, but he is so capable of fighting with them. Ardharathi, such a useless person, that even to fight with one chariot, he needs some support. This person needs some support with Ardharathi, but these are all Maharathis. At a time, they can fight with 10,000 chariots at a time. They see that the time that teachings were given in the military arts. Now, what type of teachings are given? We don't know. But that time teachings in the Vedic time, the teachings were so wonderful. Even the Kshatriyas were so bold. That is why they were known as Kshatriya. Kshatrayatehu Kshatriya. One who has the capacity to fight against harm. That's known as Kshatriya. So all great personalities are there. Then he says, after saying that, he was just thinking, how much I have praised them. What my teacher will think. And what is a diplomatic person? He will try to please everyone. He tries to keep everybody happy at the same time. And he has motives within his mind. He is not a clear person. He always have a driven motive. Now he is having a motive. What is it motive? That his teachers should support him. His teacher, his grandfather. Because he has a fear of losing the war. That is why what he does is, he is now praising his teacher. First, he is ensuring himself that his teacher is going to give justice in this fight. Not like in the previous time, even in spite of knowing that Drishtadyumna is going to kill him, still he taught all the military arts to him. But now at least he should justify because he's there on my side. At that time, he should not show leniency to Pandavas. Because he knew that Arjuna was very dear to Dronacharya. So somewhere that type of attachment should not come in between his responsibility of being the military general on the side of Kauravas. That is why he's reminding him. He says, we should remember that such type of leniency will not be allowed, at least now. Whatever you were that time, Buddha, whatever you can say, but now you should act in accordance to what I want. You are my military general, then you should support me. So in this way, indirectly, he has spoken many things. And now he is trying to pacify teacher, because the teacher also is not so unintelligent. The teacher is knowledgeable. The teacher could understand that he's actually taunting me. Because he's saying there are great warriors on the other side. So don't think that we have such a huge military force. That means we are going to win the war. We should be very careful. And we should actually analyze the strength of our opponents also. So don't be so careless while conducting this war. Don't be careless. Even in the wrestling time also, you see, when there are wrestlers, an expert wrestler is one who first analyzes the strength of the opponent. He allows himself to be beaten by the opponent. With that, he analyzes the strength and then he takes part in the wrestling. He shows his real strength. An expert is one who does not show the real strength in the beginning. He analyzes the strength of the opponent in the beginning, and then accordingly he will fight. So he says, analyze their strength first. Don't show your strength first. Analyze their strength. Don't consider them to be very meek, or don't consider them to be having a less number of people on the other side. So analyze their strength. They're all Maharathis. They are enough to fight 10,000 chariots at a time. One person is enough to fight 10,000. That means their one person is equivalent to our 10,000 chariots. He's telling to his teacher. Their one person is equivalent to our 10,000 chariots. And that one person to be equivalent to our 10,000 chariots is your foolishness. Again, he's taunting. Why? You made them such expert warriors that One person you made them stand to our 10,000 persons. Though we may have called all the great warriors from different countries, it is said it's a Mahabharata. The Mahabharata, different Kshatriyas from different places, assembled in one place, Kurukshetra, where Dharma Yuddha or the war of religion is going to be fought. War to set up religion. It's not war of religion, it's a war to set up religion. So you say, what is religion then? Is it Hindu? Is it Muslim? What it is? This religion is nothing but Sanatana Dharma. And Sanatana Dharma is based on 4 principles: purity, truthfulness, austerity, and compassion. So purity, truthfulness, austerity, and compassion. You say, what type of compassion is this? War means you have to kill. So much of killing, so much of massacre is going to happen. How come this war is going to set up this principle of compassion? It is said, one thorn removes another thorn. A needle is used to remove the thorn. In the same way, this war is actually a mood of compassion to remove the enviousness in the heart of Duryodhana. Krishna goes as a peace messenger to pacify Duryodhana. Duryodhana was not ready to give even a small place occupied by the tip of the nail. In the gambling match from 13 years ago, the Pandavas had lost. So they had to compulsorily go in exile to the forest. And then afterwards, the condition was that after 12 years of forest exile, still they should be in 1 year of Agyatavas, incognito. So still it was, they were successful in that also. So as per the condition, when they are back, they should be given the kingdom to rule. But then they did not give anything. He did not give anything. At that time, Lord Krishna told, see, they are also Kshatriyas. They should have kingdom to rule. So give at least half. He said, what half? I am not going to give even a place occupied by the tip of the nail. That was the insult which he did to Krishna. Krishna goes as peace messenger. Such enviousness when Krishna saw in the heart of Duryodhana, he thought, now it should be uprooted. It's a time to uproot such enviousness, because he has gone against the promise what he had given. Kshatriya means he should keep up the promise. He is not a Kshatriya. He is just, for the name's sake, he is a Kshatriya. He is not a Kshatriya. Kshatriya means who keeps up his vows. So then he thought, now the war of religion has to be fought. Encourages the Pandavas and says, I will be with you, don't worry. Because he had put the condition and he knew the Pandavas will only take him on the side. He said, don't worry, you start the fight. You take part in the fight. So this was a Mahayuddha. It was a big Mahabharata war, Mahayuddha, where all the Kshatriyas had assembled to fight. So this war is actually a compassionate mood of Krishna. In Russia, it so happened, there was a court case against Bhagavad Gita book. One of the lawyers said, this book is encouraging war. You see the first chapter that Krishna is telling, fight, fight. Even the whole of Bhagavad Gita, many times Krishna has told, stand up and fight. So what type of compassion is this book? What type of, why we should encourage this book? What type of peace this book is going to create? So let us abandon this book. This book has only encouraged to fight. And there was a lawyer on behalf of ISKCON. At the time he said, this book is actually the most compassionate book, where Krishna is encouraging the Pandavas to fight just to uproot the enviousness. Like when there is a thorn which enters your skin, then what you take? You take a needle to remove that thorn. So one thorn removes another thorn. So such type of war, such type of act, though may seem to be a non-compassionate act, It is actually to establish this principle of compassion or non-violence. It seems to be a violent activity, no? Violence employed to really uproot violence. The real violence is enviousness. And this violence is nothing but an act done to establish peace. So when Krishna tells to fight, that is actually an act of peace. That is how Krishna's words seems to be contradictory. Krishna says, I am establishing non-violence. Here, Arjuna is told to employ violence. Seems to be contradictory, but still it is said, who is Krishna? He is the person where two contradictory qualities harmonize. Tasminna chitram viruddha samanyam tasminna chitram. He is such a great personality where his two contradictory acts also harmonize. One place he says, I'm establishing dharma. I'm establishing 4 religious principles, in which one of the most important principles is compassion and non-violence. On the other hand, he is telling Arjuna that fight, employ violence. So how to understand this? So this is how it has been very clearly stated that employing violence to uproot the violence. So it is actually a non-violent activity. Though it may seem that Arjuna has fought and all those things, but Arjuna has so much of compassion within the heart. He doesn't want to fight, but still Krishna encourages him to fight. So then continues, he says, Asmakam tu vishishta yetan vibodha dujattama Nayaka Mavasinyasya Sangyartham Tan Bravimite. Asmakam tu. Now he wanted to praise his teacher. Oh, you are, for your information, you are the best of the Brahmanas. Now the teacher is also confused. I am really best of the Brahmanas, or I am a fool number 1. He says, no, you are the best of the Brahmanas. You have set our also army very nicely. Now the teacher is also confused, whether he's praising or whether he's criticizing. I want to show you that how wonderful Brahmanas and the captains are there to our side also. Who are all the wonderful captains who are there on our side too. Nayakaha mama sainyasya. Nayakaha. Who are all leading our side? I want to tell you. So here he is called as the best of Brahmanas. Dvija Uttama. Now in this Dvija also there are categories. Dvija means twice born. When a person is born from the womb of a mother, it's actually Shudra. Even though he may be born from a Brahmin mother, but still when born in this world, he is a Shudra. Until unless he is given the Upanayanam ceremony. In the Upanayanam sanskara, he is given Gayatri. And then he is allowed to now enter in the spiritual knowledge. So now he is second born because his teacher has taught him Gayatri Mantra. Upanayanam sanskara is Dvija. Dvija means now he is second born, twice born. Now he is fit to read the scriptures. And when he is specializing in the scriptures, he is known as Vipra, Vishesh Rupena Pragya. He is now expert in knowing the scriptures. But still, he has not realized the scriptures. He knows how to make laddu. Somebody has taught him. But he has not yet made the laddu. He knows how to make this, that much. If he makes, then only he will understand what the difficulties come while making the laddus, isn't it? In the same way, he knows the scriptures, but he has not yet put it into practice. So when he puts into practice, that person is Vaishnava. That is why Vaishnava is the topmost in all the Brahmanas. Even though he may be not born in a Brahmin womb, though he may not be, he may not have got the Upanayanam sanskara, but still he is he is the best of all the Brahmins. So he says you are the best of the Brahmins. You are Dvija Uttama. So who is Dvija Uttama? Vaishnava is a Dvija Uttama. Now, whether he is criticizing teacher or really praising teacher. Vaishnava means what? One who serves Krishna. So are you on my side and serving Krishna? This is also one taunt. You are the best of the Vaishnava, best of the Brahmins. That means you are a Vaishnava. Are you on my side and trying to serve Krishna? When you say serving Krishna, means serving 4 things of Krishna. Serving 5 things of Krishna. That is his name, form, qualities, leelas, and his parivar. Parivar are the devotees. Are you serving his devotees? So this is also one, actually, if you see, this is also one criticism. Though he is glorifying his teacher, you are Dvija Uttama. But Dvija Uttama in real sense is who? Vaishnava. Vaishnava in real sense is what? Who serves Krishna and his devotees. So are you trying to pretend to be on my side and indirectly serve the Pandavas? The Pandavas and Krishna. So let me say, at least who are all there, who are very sincere on my side. In that you are also counted. He says. You are also counted. So see the second, next verse. Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Krupascha Samitinjaya Ashwathama Vikarnascha Saumadattis Thaivacha. Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha, you are good self. Bhishma Pitamaha, Karna, Krupacharya, Ashwathama, Vikarna, all are there onto my side. And is taking a pride out of it. You are also there on my side. Though you are the best of the Brahmins, but still you are there on my side. So here we'll stop. Any questions you can ask? Any questions? So the whole world is moving. Why you are all locked up? You should come to the temple. What is the sense of being locked up? Here, see, we are. Yeah, you should also come. The world is moving. The offices are also going on. Isn't it? The banks are open. The subji market is open. I don't think that you are completely locked up in your house. But when it comes to education, why locked up? Yes. In the subji market today, I was seeing was heavily crowded. So when there is a movement which is going on, unless your whole building is sealed up, you can move. Come out of the fear. You are all youngsters only. Nothing is going to happen to you. So you can come, take darshan of Lord. Then attend the program. Because once in a week, even if you don't do that, then okay, these classes are very good. Only when emergency, when nobody is allowing, I am able to come. Bhavin is able to come. Sakit is able to come. So when they are able to come, Bhavin comes all the way from Mulund or sometimes from the road. So when he is able to come, you all are there in Thane only. No? So what is the reason that you are not coming? Sanat, Sahil, what is the reason that you are not coming? Though you may say that there is a curfew put and all, everything is moving. Everybody is moving. Yes, Sanat?
No, for this thing only. Parents are also there at home now, so even if we don't get that they should not get, that is the main thing.
Immunity. Gomutra. This fear has to come out. It is not parents are there, grandparents are there. Just take Gomutra. Put nose ghee. Every day one should take Gomutra. You have Ayurkoro. Order the Ayurkoro and give one dose to everyone. Is enough. Fear will only remove.
Okay, it can be taken anytime.
Huh? What?
Ayur, that medicine which you told can be taken as okay. Can be taken as immunity booster.
Yes, it is an immunity booster. It has Gomutra. You have to take that. You have taken Ayurkoro? Very good. You have taken Ayurkoro? Very good. 3 times. Jai. 3 लिया. नहीं आपने खुद लिया क्या Ayurkoro? Very good. Bhavin has also taken Ayurveda. The 3 times you have to take, na? And then the last time you have to gargle with the Gomutra. So every day also limbu with limbu in hot water and put haldi and gargle, steaming with camphor. They're all very easy solutions. Just being at home is not the solution. Not the solution. One has to increase the immunity. That is more important. Sahil, what is your problem? Yes, Sahil. Your voice is not heard. Because this type of fear, how long will we have it? How long? Even
Mataji.
before all? Huh? Yes, Sahil.
Yes, I was tested as positive 2 to 3 days ago. So I am taking precautions by sitting home.
So now what you should do? Don't take any allopathy medicines.
Mhm.
Just call Dr. Gayatri. She's the best of the Ayurvedic doctors. Talk to her. Take Ayur Corona, Ayur Coro 3. First take that. Immediately you should take it. You order it, you'll get it. And then I'll send some medicines and talk to Gayatri, she will guide you. Take inhalation, do the gargle. Possible, put 2 drops of lemon juice in your nose. If you can do it, immediately it will be very nice. Lemon juice, and if it is burning a little bit, just apply some coconut oil. Yes. This lemon juice, when it enters to the nose, to your throat, it has a capacity to kill the virus. And then take Gomutra and put nose ghee. Take inhalation with camphor. Go on smelling camphor. Give camphor to even your family relations. Camphor has a capacity to remove the virus. And also in water, put camphor and drink. This is a very easy solution. By mistake, don't go to the hospital. Because allopathy has no cure. This roga is actually because of cough and vata. This cough and vata, when increases in the body, that is why hot things has to be taken. Not just take something cold. Hot things has to be taken. Cough and vata dosha, this is. Don't sit in AC. Don't put too much of fan and increase your vata dosha. So we should understand these doshas. And I'll send Gayatri's number in this list. And you can call her. I know the medicines also, but let her advise you nicely. Okay, Sahil?
Yes, mother.
Yeah, and don't panic. Do your pranayam very nicely. Chant nicely. Pranayam every day should be done. You know how to do pranayam? Inhalation.
Yes.
Lungs should be very strong.